Josh Knoll.
As you see there on the very corner of your screen, Trent Baker of Hoxie placing third. His brother now on the mat wrestling for the state championship at 135 pounds. Travis Baker, both of those the son of Coach Kurt Baker of Hoxie.
Travis has been here before. He's qualified every year. He's been in high school. He took first as a freshman, second as a sophomore, third last year as a junior, and now he's back in the finals again. Curtis Wood from Phillipsburg qualified last year, did not place. They wrestled at the Colby tournament. Of course, Baker won that one. He's won another one of our undefeated wrestlers coming into this tournament.
Baker with a quick takedown.
Getting near fall count here. Got three coming.
Quick 5-point start. It's a great way to start a match and a bad way to start a match, depending on which kid you are.
Well, this is the only wrestler that Phillipsburg has in the finals, but Phillipsburg has 70 points. They're sitting in the top 10. That's quite a turnaround from the last couple of years when they've really struggled up there, and they've got a new coach this year, Chad Fuller, and he's really turned the program around. He's done an excellent job up there.
I know they were right in the hunt for the second place slot at the Norton Regional.
Well, they've had their glory days too. A few years back, they were right in the thick of things here.
Baker and Wood have met once before in the season. They met at the Colby tournament. Baker won that one by a fall. But as you said before, the pass means nothing when you get here.
That's right. Baker tried to come out in front and pull a cross-arm turn of some kind there and almost pulled it.
I believe he's trying to work either a near leg lift or a cradle in there. Maybe whichever one will come to him.
There's the cradle. There's the cradle right there.
And he's got Wood in a heck of a predicament there. That's a tough one to get out of once you get those legs up above your head, but he does do so. 3 predicament points for Baker. That makes the score now 8-0. Still in the first period, just 25 seconds remaining.
I wouldn't say that Hoxie lives and dies by the cradle, but boy, they sure score a lot of points off of it. And they'll throw that cradle from any position.
There are several different forms of the cradle as well. Sandy seems to live more off the far side cradle. Hoxie more off what was called the inside cradle, which is what we just saw Travis Baker do.
Wood gets an escape, makes it 8-1, and Travis comes in for another takedown, going in for that inside cradle again.
And the period comes to an end. So we head to period number 2, 8-1. Travis Baker of Hoxie over Curtis Wood of Phillipsburg.
Wood defers his choice and Baker chooses neutral. So I think Baker's probably looking at trying to get that cradle off his takedown.
Something that Hoxie wrestlers have been known to do. Now running a 3/4 Nelson power half, if you will, from the front side.
He'll try about anything, won't he?
Nearly 2 points. He does get the points there on the edge of the mat. Baker improves on his lead, now 10-1. With 1:40 remaining in the second period. Your 135-pound state wrestling championship.
Of course, Travis lost the semifinals here last year on an injury default. He threw an illegal crossface, and they penalized him for it, and the other boy couldn't finish the match, so he won. And Baker will have to come back through the back door and get third. Of course, that last year, Hoxie left here on Friday night. Everybody thought they were dead, and they came through the back door and won the state tournament last year. This year, it's a little different story. They're up there with 165 points, just daring somebody to try to catch up with them.
Yeah, nearly I believe it was exactly, in fact, a 68-point lead coming into this final round. You were talking about them winning it through the back door this last year. This year, there's an article in the Hayes paper with the special state wrestling issue. Title of the story, Hoxie hopes to use front door this time.
Yeah.
They have.
Talked to Coach Baker this afternoon. He said the thing that made him happy was that he brought 10 wrestlers and 9 of them are going home with medals. Tremendous leverage there. It doesn't hurt. Well, I'll tell you, sometimes being long and tall is good, and sometimes being short and short coupled is good. So it just depends on the wrestler and how he uses it. Travis Baker's got that cradle in there, trying to bump the hips over where he can work it to turn, but it turns off the mat.
That time it was a far side cradle. For those of you that aren't aware of the difference, now you're aware. 47 seconds remaining, 12-2. Baker over Wood.
I just call them all Hoxie cradles.
I don't know that far side. I think I'd refer to that as a St. Francis cradle. You were mentioning the length of the wrestler. I, being a tall, thin one, hated wrestling short, stocky ones. I've heard short, stocky ones say that they hated wrestling tall, thin ones.
Now, me, I preferred the tall, thin ones because there was all kinds of legs you could grab hold of. But those short, stocky guys could turn around inside of me 2 or 3 times before I knew what was happening.
Got a timeout, I believe, for some blood.
We're ready to go again. We've got 47 seconds left in the second period with a 12-2 score. Also keep in mind that if we get a 15-point spread, that's what we call a technical fall, and we're 5 points away from that right here. So
they do go ahead and give you the option to get the fall, as it is worth an extra half a point on the team score.
Giving up the escape there made it a 9-point spread. So
I know Baker has throughout the tournament let kids up. I don't think that's what he was trying to do there, but I guess in the third period, if we get in the same situation, we might find out.
That's true. Trying to get both of those arms locked up there so he can step in and maybe throw him to his back.
Don't see a lot of throws at these lower weights. I guess we're now probably into the mid weights, but you see more of that type of stuff in the upper weights where they've got the big arms on them.
Yeah. You know, these kids don't have a lot of big arms, but I'll tell you, there's some power in those arms. You look at them, and they're not big arms, but they're strong arms.
He did score 2 there at the very end of the period.
Takedown at the buzzer.
14-3 as we head into the third period in your 135-pound state wrestling championship match. You mentioned not necessarily big, but strong. I can tell you that after the first match of the year, you figure out that if you have big arms, it doesn't necessarily mean anything because you'll have sore fingers. You use your fingers more than your arms.
One thing I keep telling my boys is those big arms take a lot of air. And if you push those guys, sometimes you can make them, because most weightlifters and muscle builders don't work on the cardiovascular system. They just work on the muscle, and they run out of air quick. Baker's just scored another takedown. We have a 16-4 match. It's a 12-point difference.
Working a tip.
Trying to tip him over onto that near fall level.
He's got it now. You have to break 45-degree plane.
We've got our 15-point spread there. As soon as those 3 points go up.
He's going to wait till he releases the hold before he gives those points. He's giving Baker the chance to go for the fall, and Baker might just take him up on it. Now we'll get the 3, and that will be the match.
That goes to the technical fall.
Technical fall for Baker of Hoxie. He is your 135-pound state champion, winning over Curtis Wood of Phillipsburg. And you can hear the Hoxie crowd now.
They like their wrestlers up there, don't they?
Yes, they do. Their wrestlers like them as well.
That one just put on a pretty darn good show for us, too.
And now we've got walking around the arena the young men once again with the Hoxie rules written on their chest and the back-to-back written on their backs.
Our medals at 130 pounds. 6th place, we have Tyler Martin from Ellsworth. 5th, Mike James from Harrington. 4th, Martin Coons from southeast of Saline. 3rd, Jamal Davis from Lyons, a freshman. 2nd, from Oberlin is Brian Miller. And our 130-pound champion from St. Francis, Gabe Jenkins.
At 140